Hey, how's it going, man?
Hey, what's up?
More or less for the last year, I've been living in Toronto. But the thing is, at the end of this week, I'm actually leaving.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a thing.
I'm heading to San Francisco for a little bit, so there's a lot of stuff I need to get done.
Alright, dinner's over.
It's gonna be.
So last week I told you guys that we started a new company. We started building a tech startup, myself, a couple of my friends. It has now been officially 3 months since we started working on this idea full time. I think the earliest version of the product and the idea came together in around November, but we didn't really go full time on it until the last 3 months. And since then, my days have started to look very different from what they used to be. A big difference being working alone versus working with others. Working with others is so much more fun. I actually speak to other people, not just my camera all day. But on the other hand, it's just an entire new way of working. When you work alone, you rarely have to share or communicate with other people because you just own the entire workflow from front to end. But of course, when you work with other people, it's very different. And the company we've been building over the last few months is built to give your computer infinite storage. And that is a crazy grand idea, but we've actually built something really, really cool that solves this problem. So what Space essentially is a file system that gives your computer infinite storage. And how it works is it basically removes the need to upload or download files when you're sharing between team members. And when you do that, then you no longer have to download a file. It means that you can just access your cloud files as if they were local. You're not gonna have to waste any local storage to download a file, and then you no longer have to wait for file transfers to start working. So with all that being said, I'll give you a very quick sneak peek of what we've been building over the last few months and what our users have been actually using. So this right here is my space. I can pop open a Finder window, navigate through, find my clips, and the cool thing is I hit space, the video is there, it's playable. But then when you right click it and you get info, this entire video doesn't actually exist on this computer. It's literally 0 kilobytes. There's a ton of features on top. You can probably start imagining where this is helpful. But anyways, back to what I'm actually doing today. For the last week, we've been onboarding a ton of users and teams. And because we've done so many, we kind of feel like we've exhausted many of our leads. So now what I have to do today is go out and find more quality leads. So I'm getting a head start on it now. The main avenue that I'm going to target for this week is Twitter. So Twitter is actually relatively a new platform for me. I've only been on it for a couple months. I've got a small audience over there, but I'm still definitely in that experimenting phase of trying to figure out which formats that work for me. So yesterday I sat at my computer, filmed a little Twitter demo, just showing basically what I showed you guys there. I need to finish editing that today so I can post it tomorrow. And I also told myself if I could do another solid 10, 12 hours of work today, I would reward myself with going to the last screening of the Odyssey in IMAX tonight. I think it's at 11 p.m. So fingers crossed. So one thing about working from home all the time is that if you live in an apartment, they do regular fire alarm inspections and they like to do them midday because that's when everybody else is at work. But for me, this is my office. This is where I work. I'm here 24/7. So every month, this will go off for 20 minutes and it's really distracting. Usually I just try and leave or go for lunch or grab coffee during that time, but today completely missed it. And I can't lie, that alarm definitely scared me because I was pretty locked in, deep focus editing this video right now. Quick break away from the desk here. Since we're leaving so soon, I have to go grab all the stuff that I've loaned to other people. Specifically, a couple months ago, I gave one lens to one of my friends, and now I have to go pick it up. I actually haven't visited him at work since he got his new job, but I do think it's this building. I am vlogging.
Can we say hi?
You can say hi.
What's happening? Are you new to Toronto?
No.
No, you been here?
Been here for a minute.
I
yeah.
like this though. I like this though. What's your channel called?
Dude, do you have your phone? Show you.
Obviously, bro. Got you. What's your name?
Jason.
Jason, nice to meet you, man.
Nice to meet you. What was I saying? Yeah, I haven't actually visited him since he got his new job, but I do need that lens before I head back to San Francisco because it is like my zoom lens, and as much as I love this lens, this 11mm, I do want to have my entire kit. And funny enough, even though I live downtown, I actually never come to this area because this is all the financial buildings. So every single big bank in Canada is right around me here. Obviously, I'm not a banker, so I don't come to this area, but it does remind me of when I was in Calgary working my internship. I worked in like one of the taller buildings in Calgary. I think it actually might have been the tallest building in the city, and seeing everybody in suits walking around, especially now because it's summer, so there's like a lot of interns, you can tell who's an intern. Kind of does take me back to when I was still working as an intern in the city, downtown core. Doing the whole 9 to 5 shtick. Absolutely nothing against 9 to 5. I had an amazing time working in Calgary, doing the whole standard internship route, but obviously I am now doing something else. Man, maybe I should come to this area more. It is really nice. You look like a finance bro.
I have to.
Yeah. All right, that is that. Heading home now. I do have one more user onboarding call tonight, which I'm very much looking forward to. That starts in about 15, so I should be right on time. But let's get out of here. So if you didn't know, basically every single big Hollywood movie that you've ever seen that is set in New York is actually shot in Toronto. This extends way beyond New York. If it's just like a big city in a movie or a show, it's probably shot in Toronto. I don't really know why, but it is. And if you are a fan of like superhero shows and you've seen that show called The Boys, this might look familiar.
This is like the bottom of their headquarters tower.
So the last time we were in San Francisco, a lot of very, very important things happened, especially around the start of the company. I mean, when we went to San Francisco, it didn't even exist. Like, it wasn't incorporated. We actually incorporated after most of the big events happened. So it's gonna be pretty exciting to see what happens this time around. It's gonna be another generational lock-in. This time we're going for a bit longer. On one hand, we are going for a little bit longer, so things could be more stressful. But on the other hand, since we've kind of already done it once, we are more prepared this time around. I think overall morale is high. The company's in a much better position than it ever has been. For the last few months back in Toronto, we have still been building and keeping momentum up. But when you do land in San Francisco, it does kick things up a notch. Something about the city, maybe it's the people, maybe it's the fact that everything's so expensive, so you just feel the need to work so much harder to get things done. Whatever it is, I'm very much looking forward to being a part of it again. But of course, it does come with a ton of responsibility. All right, glad to be back home. I think I've been living here for almost a year now. My landlord texted me the other day, reminding me that it's been a year since I moved here, which is crazy because so much has happened. On one hand, it really does not feel like it's been an entire year. And on the other, it's like, wow, I've really started to set up some roots here. For those of you that don't know, I'm not actually from Toronto. I grew up in another part of Canada in the Midwest, way west of here. A much smaller city in the province of Saskatchewan. If you're American, that's right above North Dakota / Montana area. And I lived there from the day I was born until I was 19. And that's when I moved out for university. I moved out east. And I do rep Toronto quite hard in these videos because it is the city that I live in. It is the first big city that I've lived alone in my 20s. Toronto is also the city that I moved to right after graduation with like no career or job prospects, just with this dream that I could do something with my life. And just reflecting on the things that have happened over this last year in Toronto, it's making me realize how much I do appreciate and love the energy in the city, and I just love the city in general. For the majority of my adult life, I was moving around a ton. Basically, when you're in school, specifically in engineering, every couple of months, you're moving around. So for the majority of my early 20s, I was actually moving every 4 to 8 months, and rarely did I ever spend more than 12 months in a single location. But I realize now that Toronto is the first place in my life that I, as an independent young adult, who is now almost entering my mid-20s, which is really scary to say, where I feel like this is a place that I could live long term. Like many others, I never want to move back home to my hometown. I also never want to move back to that small little college town I went to school in, but I think at this point in my life where I really just want to lock myself in a room with my friends and just work, I feel like Toronto over this last year has really been able to give that to me. I think a lot of these feelings are also coming up again because we're heading to San Francisco, and it kind of feels like that again. It kind of feels like throwing myself out there into the unknown, going to a new city as I've done so many times in my life. So once again, I'm gonna preach to everyone watching this. If you are chasing something and you feel like you've outgrown your environment, think about moving to a bigger city. So I've been making videos for a minute. User calls, I think 3. We've actually been scheduling them back to back to back. All right, I'm here with Arvin.
What's up?
Arvin is helping us shoot a pretty big launch video. Arvin, dude, how do we meet? So we met we kind of met at like an event, a creator event in Toronto,
Yeah.
but we didn't really talk. And then we met in San Francisco a couple months later, and it was like, oh, you're from Toronto? No way.
Yeah. No, because his face, I was like, yo, I've seen your face before.
And then once we started talking,
we've talked before as well.
and then you mentioned Indonesia, and I was like, how many like camera dudes from Toronto that were born in Indonesia or something like are there? You know what I mean? Like,
and this guy mentioned Saskatchewan.
yeah, exactly. So how
And
many?
I was like, wait, how many content creators are from Saskatchewan that's in Toronto? And that's essentially, yeah.
So we ended up finally linking up in San Francisco last time we were there. Now that we're back, we finally get to work on a project together. I think one of the best parts about putting yourself out there in the world and like doing content is just being able to work with other people, other cool people, and Arvin is one of those. So he's helping us. He's helping us out with one of our launch videos right now. We have a pretty big launch coming up in a few weeks. We're shooting that. We just did some shooting, but right now I'm gonna get Arvin's input on one of the videos that I'm reviewing for something else, because obviously I really trust his judgment. You ready?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right, dinner's over. Currently 9 p.m. The showing, I think earlier in this video I said that if I finished all the work I had to do today, I would treat myself to the last showing of The Odyssey, like in the theater down the street. I technically did finish most of the work that I had to do today, but I checked the theater seats, and there's only like the front row seats left where you have to like sit there and watch like this. So I don't really know if I want to go do that, but I do really want to watch this movie before I leave for San Francisco. Starts in an hour and a half. I don't think I've made up my mind right now. I think I'm gonna head home, chill for a little bit, probably do a little bit more work because I want to get ahead for tomorrow. Maybe after that I can make a decision on whether or not I want to go watch The Odyssey tonight.
These days don't end, and you lost the things that brought us closer. We're spread so thin, and that's all it takes to knock you over.
Finding out the hard way, forgot how good it feels to be alone. You did watch a movie on your phone for real. Is this how I'm supposed to feel? Save me some, she said, love. I felt like you could've called it something else, but I couldn't think of nothing else for real, 'cause it was hard to tell.
Well, it is 11 p.m. It's about that time of night where I turn off my computer. I guess I'm not going to the movies tonight. It started 13 minutes ago. Don't get me wrong, today was incredibly productive, but I think the only thing I could have done better was go to the gym in the morning. I kind of got a little bit lazy, so tomorrow morning, gonna have to make up for it. Got the main video that I was working on today done. That is scheduled to go out tomorrow. Finished writing a ton of copy for our launches coming up. Also finished up shooting some of our launch promo as well. Onboarded 2 users, got my lens back. Also, there's still work to do, but I think I'm gonna call it a night for now. I've been trying to go to bed earlier these days. Lately, I've been doing pretty good. Usually, I'm in bed before 12, asleep by like 12:30. No exceptions today. I think this vlog definitely earned its title of a productive day in my life. This is my bedroom. I live alone. You guys probably haven't actually seen too much of it in here because, well, there's not really anything in here besides my bed and my closet. I really like it this way. I find that it's just very peaceful. Even right now, vlogging in here just doesn't really feel right. So I'm actually gonna head back to my desk and wrap up this video. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. If you wanna learn more about what we're building, the company Space, you can find all of its information in the link in description. If you are a creator, or maybe you run a production studio or have any sort of file-heavy workflow that you are struggling with running out of storage, check out what we are building and we will get you sorted. I will see you guys in the next one.